Hello, fellow survivors. This is Zach here with the old loading screen. Probably the last time I'll see this particular loading screen, because I'm recording this just before the patch hits, about one day before, and it's time to say goodbye to all the old runs. So I've been playing on PC since late 2018, so about for 4 years, and in that time I've accumulated quite a few different runs. And I thought I should say goodbye to them and have a look at them, just as a last hurrah before the great reset, where things change and these become unplayable unless you have the Time Capsule. Now obviously we have my 1000 day run, which is well over 1000 days now, but we'll do that one last because that's the most known of them. I'm not going to go through all of these runs because that's not really necessary, but there are a few runs that stand out. So why don't we just start at the Winter Merchant. This is a run that I streamed a few times, but I never made a video about it. That's 89 days on the Interloper. So let me show you the base in this run and tell you what it's about. So here we are in Coastal Highway. And if I turn around, you'll see there's lots of stuff on the floor. But when I turn left, you'll see even more stuff on the floor. So what is this? Well, this is a challenge that I created called the Winter Merchant Challenge. The idea here was that I couldn't use any found items that were like man-made. So all the loot I found, I had to put in one location and then see what kind of loot there is overall on Interloper. So that meant that I could still wear some clothing I found, but they're kind of borrowed. But once they are ruined, I have to put them down. But I can't walk around with tools and things. They all have to be stored here. So in this run, I went around the world and I didn't eat any food because the food needs to be stored. I only had birch bark and found meat. And of course, I got the bow eventually and started hunting food. But I couldn't eat any of the found food because that needed to be stored. So in this particular run, I put everything I found in one location just to see how much there was. Unfortunately, I haven't done the whole world. I think I've done maybe 1/3. So I explored 50%, but I haven't looted everything. I have looted, I think I've written it down. Let's see. Yeah, so Pleasant Valley, Timberwolf Mountain, Ash Canyon has mostly been looted to the high-end locations. Yeah, and then I've written where I found the different loots, but of course some of this is found in the loot tables. Yeah, looted areas completely. So I haven't been in the Aurora Cave in Coastal Highway, but I've been done the rest. Then Mystery Lake, Broken Rail, Fallen Muskeg, Ravine except for the drop, and most of Ash Canyon except for some smaller places. So I'm still missing loot from Desolation Point, from Bleak Inlet, from Milton, from HRV, from Black Rock, and Timberwolf Mountain, as well as Pleasant Valley and some bits and bobs. So this is maybe 1/3. So what you're seeing in front of you is practically 1/3 of the world looted on Interloper and then put in front. And I have another section over here with food, but we'll get to that. So here, let's just start here. These are the 2 bedrolls. I think I have, yeah, bare bedroll, yeah. Only 3 pry bars in this one, but in my main run I have much more. All the cooking pots I found so far, hacksaws, cans, 4 hammers, 4 jerry cans. There's a 5th one in the Aurora Cave, but I haven't been there. I found 5 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 4 of these accelerants. Now, if you know the main base of mine, you know there's more than this in the world, because I have more than 2 of these and more than 5 of these, and so on, in my main base over 1000 days. But there's a lot of other stuff that I never collected in that run. One of them is the books. So these are all the books I found so far. You notice there's actually 5 books on shooting with the firearm, but you can't use the firearm. There's 2 on revolvers, there's 4 on gunsmithing, 5 for carcass harvesting. This one's the wrong way around. So these are all the books that I found so far. So there's quite a few, especially for this 1/3 of the world. Although the areas that I haven't looted, I have passed through some of them and looted some of the high-end locations. So think probably in terms of like unique loot, it's probably maybe half of the world looted. It's a bit hard to say. This run was started in 2020, and then I kind of abandoned it because I started doing tutorials and other things, and I never really got around to continuing it because I couldn't remember where I left it. I only recently revisited the run. I might do something like this again in the DLC. Try and collect everything in one place. Then we have all the clothing, which I just grouped by types. So you see this like 1 parka, 2 ski jackets, lots of jeans, some of the wool sweaters. There's a variety of things there. Quite a lot of boots and socks. And then we have our gloves as well. Quite a few driving gloves. These are the hats. So we got extra wool toques, and this one's ruined. And that's pretty much it for the clothing and tools that I found so far, just putting on location. And I think this it probably would about double if I'd finished this run. And then in here we have the food that I found, and it's all stored kind of neatly. Some tools here as well. So here's whetstones and sewing kits, flares, marine flares. And you can't put things upright or put things on these shelves unless you use a mod, so I have not put anything there. And it's all the cans. If you didn't know this already, you might notice that they're only green. That's because on Interloper you can only find green cans. Why? I don't know. Probably there's some resource saving thing, but you can only find this. We have the stims so far. These are the medicines. Surprisingly few of it, considering I'm not using any of them. Here we have our sardines, only 4 sardines because I haven't been to Bleak Inlet and things. Then we have pork and beans, soup, pinnacle peaches, dog food, lots of ketchup chips, some salt crackers, lots of beef jerky as well, and some granola and chocolate. Quite a few matches. So what I did with matches is I made an exception. So I put one, I think this is 1 match. Yeah. So every time I found a pack of matches, I put one match, here, and I kept the other 11 because it's just symbolic. There's all the coffee tins I found. I found 1 coffee by itself, herbal tea as well. So that's 21 cups basically. There's the maple syrups. Found 3 of those. Then of course we have all these spray paints. So this doesn't look like much, does it? The idea was to fill this entire store with everything I found and make it all, welcoming customers back in again. But there's not that much of it. So I looted somewhere between 1/3 and half of the world. Everything I find, I don't eat it. I don't eat any of the food. I don't use any of the medicine. Nothing was used. It's all cattails, water, found meat, birch bark, and so on. All natural stuff. Then I'm just borrowing these clothes. They will be put down eventually. And then I'm using this for repairs rather than sewing kits. And then I'm crafting these things. I have a primer on me though, because I need to open containers. So there are some exceptions. But so there is not much. If I did the entire run, maybe there would be double this amount or so. So there's not much to be found on Interloper really in terms of found food and stuff. But I never got to finish it. There are other people who have done this. Once and only, I believe, did it. And the Deadpool did it. And I think the Deadpool did it actually on Stalker. And then he was able to fill out the entire shop because there's way more loot on Stalker. So yeah. That is the Winter Merchant run. Trying to collect everything there is in the world. Putting it in one place. We made it to day 80, I think. 90. Okay, so it's about 90 days, basically. So yeah, that's one of them. That's the Winter Merchant. So thanks. Maybe I'll do it again another time. But thanks for all the loot, and I'll see you in the expansion. Let's move on to the next run. Alright, then we have this one, I guess, the Loper Made Easy. So let's hop into that one. This one you might be familiar with. So this run is the Interloper tutorial. So I have a lot of different runs from all the different walkthroughs that I did. But most of them I only played the beginning of the run and then I ended the run. But this one was an exception. So I made a video about a year ago called Interloper Made Easy. Then I made a follow-up with that. That was like the mid-game. And then the mid-late game setting things up. And I was going to make a fourth video, which was the late game, but it's not really any point because there's not really time for it until the expansion hits. But this is how far we got. With day 61, we're fully equipped with all the best clothing except for the air wrap and a second pair of these. Other than that, we're pretty good. And this is what we got left. And we got 11 arrows on us. We got all the tools and everything. Some spare stuff of hair, pelts and things. An extra wolfskin coat, water. Got some more tools there and teas. And I started collecting these for the fun of it, you know. So this is kind of like what our base ended up being. I think there's some more stuff up here. In here. Yeah, so we got some clothes and resources, accelerant, stims, 4 stims. Let's actually do it like this. Quite a lot of stims here. Quite a lot of clothing. I probably would repair these, maybe. Some extra food and coffee. And these, this is something you should do. You should, if you use fishing tackles to repair your clothing, when they get to 5% or so, you should put them in a storage, because then you can use them for fishing. Because the condition of the fishing tackle doesn't impact how well you fish. So you might as well just use it for repairs. And then when it's low condition, use it for fishing. Because if then the fish, like if it breaks the line, then you lose a low condition thing. Not nice. Yeah, that's about it. So we survived 60 days in this run. Produced 3 walkthroughs with it. And I'm sorry I didn't get to the late game one, which if I had time for that, I would have gone to Mushroom Valley and get the air wrap that's there. Yeah, so this was the Interloper Made Easy run. 60 days, and I recorded all of it. So if you want to watch how I got here, there are 3 videos on my channel, and that is the consecutive run of this run, 60 days. So yeah, thank you for the loot and for the run, and see you in the DLC. So let's move on. Then we have also our Interloper nighttime one. This is the Endless Night run, but here there isn't really anything to say because I didn't get around to starting a base. But this was the run where we're on Endless Night, and it's always darkness, eternal darkness. I have intestinal parasites too, and I don't think they progress. No, because the time doesn't really change. It's always darkness, you know. So this was an interesting one. I don't really have a base to show here though, because, well, there isn't really one. But this is the playthrough where it's eternal darkness, endless night, the sun never rises, it's always, always dark. So that was an interesting experience for sure. I would have liked to continue this, but there wasn't any opportunity with the DLC coming out. But it was a fun thing to do. There's a video about this run if you'd like to see it. The start was really interesting, using the distress pistol to find my way in the dark, and that was quite cool. But yeah, other than that, this is quite a short run. But thank you for that. That was fun. And then we have some misc ones we're not going to look at, but we also have the Birch one. So this run here is Birch bark only. In this run, I'm only allowed to eat birch bark, or rather drink. And that's not a lot. So the way this works is that you can't eat any of the food you find. You can only drink water and birch tea, and that's it. And stim is okay as well. So that meant that you have to leave all the food you find behind. You can't pick up any of the food you find. You can't harvest meat. You can harvest guts and stuff though. And you also can't use reishi teas and rose hips to cure things, because they give you calories unless you had no other way out. And that's difficult because you're going to get hungry and you're going to get tired, and if you don't eat for a long period of time, you lose fatigue. So it's quite a difficult thing to do, birch only. It was quite a tough challenge. And we are on day 12. So I have 12 days so far. This is on Interloper with only birch bark, and that's it. So the way that works is you starve yourself, you wait until you're exhausted, you go as long as you can with as little health as you can, and then you drink like, I think it was 9 of these in one go, and then you will heal up almost all the way. So for example, I think I did that on my back here. There you go, yeah, so here, here I was 30% health, and I more or less went to sleep, and I went up to 81 on Interloper. And that's because I just drank a whole bunch of these birch teas. So that was an interesting challenge. I didn't get to day 50, but it was a fun thing to do. So a lot of people ask if it's possible to do a vegan challenge. Can you do the long dark with just eating like vegan diets? Well, this is basically that, isn't it? Because you're only eating birch bark, and that's it. So if you can survive on only birch tea, then you can definitely survive on like a vegan diet in the long dark. So yeah, so this was a good run. There was a small base of sorts in the dam where I'm not at the moment, but there's not much to see there. This was mostly a run just to get birch tea. If you do want to watch this run, it is available on my channel. It was streamed though and not narrated, so I streamed it 4 times, which I will glued into 2 videos, which you can watch if you want to see how you survive on Interloper with only birch tea. It is possible. Yeah, thank you for this run. And then we have the Fallen Muskeg run, but these are short runs. I'm not going to really look at, because in these ones, these are runs I did a walkthrough, and then I recorded the walkthrough, and then I left the run, and I haven't done anything since, so there isn't really much to say about it. They're just remnant things to do with those runs. Same with the Will to Summit. So this was the Fallen Muskeg walkthrough. Will to Summit was the Timberwolf Mountain walkthrough. This one, the tutorial run, I think this is the Start to Bow run. Let me have a look at this one. I'm not sure what this is. I think it might be the Start to Bow run. I'm guessing it is. Yes, because it's Desolation Point, you see. So this run is the first walkthrough I ever did. This is the Start to Bow video that I made quite a while back. That's the first one I did. And I did that first video, and then I didn't really do much with it after that. So this is just that video. We have a base in Trappers, but it's not much to it because it's quite early in the run. I think it's only, yeah, it's 13 days. But I guess this run has a special place in my heart, in the sense that it was the first walkthrough I ever made. And it's really what cemented this channel for the content that it makes. Because before I made this run, I didn't think people wanted to watch the walkthroughs and the narrated runs. So I actually only decided to make one, because some people asked about it. And I said, I'll make one run. I make one walkthrough, and then the rest will be edited tips. And I made this one, and it really caught on. I think at the time of this video it has 100,000 views or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, so this there's not much to show here in terms of bases, but this is where it all started really. This was the first of all the walkthroughs. So let's shoot at this wolf in the distance there. And this one, thank you so much for this. This was a fun thing to do, for sure. That was fun to revisit that one. I didn't even remember what it was called. It's just called Tutorial Run. And then we have some misc things I use for different things, time lapses and stuff. Doesn't really matter. This one doesn't count for anything. This is the Blackrock run I did, where I jumped into Blackrock blind, but it wasn't really a blind run as such, because I played it on story mode. But of course I didn't have a clue where items were, so it was like a half blind, semi-blind or pseudo-blind run. I knew the map kind of, but I had no clue where to find loot. So that was a fun experience, but other than that, there's nothing really to say about it. And then we have some other ones that I think is worthy of talking about. So this one is special. This is Winter's Embrace. Now, if you're watching this, you're either thinking, oh yeah, I remember that, or you're thinking, what's Winter's Embrace? What's that? Well, Winter's Embrace was the specific event that happened in the Long Dark, and I'll tell you all about it. So let's load this game. This is Voyager. So what's special about this run? Well, this is a Voyager run, but it's not just any Voyager run. You haven't survived too long. It's day 30. Yeah, 30 days. And we got the rifle, flare gun. Yeah. I haven't really looked at this run in well over a year.
Right here.
I don't really know exactly what I was doing a year ago, but that's neither here nor there. We got a little mini base going here. But what's special about this run, though, is that this is the Winter's Embrace run. So in I think it was 2020, they had a special event in the summer, which was called Winter's Embrace. And Winter's Embrace was a special event in the Long Dark, which is when you could find, I don't have them, ketchup chips. So ketchup chips and the, this is not even open. Wow, I must have just gotten here then, I guess. Ketchup chips.
Hope I can still eat this.
MRE, okay. No ketchup chips, I guess. But yeah, so ketchup chips and maple syrup was added to the game in, I believe it was the summer of 2020, so about 2 years ago and a bit. And to commemorate the addition of that, they had an event called the Winter's Embrace event. And you started the event and you would go around, and it was basically kind of Voyager, but they had ketchup chips and maple syrup all over the place. And in fact, can I see the badges? I think I have the badges here. Put them on down here. Here we are. Look at this. So see, this is the Winter's Embrace Canadian Feet badge. So it was 2020, yeah. So that's when they added this. And if I remember correctly, in order to get this badge, you had to collect 25 ketchup chips and 25 maple syrup. And at this one, I think you got by just attending the event, I think, or there was one for each, 25 for each. Getting 25 maple syrup, that was a bit difficult. It counted across runs though, so you could just find the ones you could in one run, start a new one, and so on. Because you wouldn't find 25 maple syrup in one run, but 25 ketchup chips you could. So this was something that the community did for a few weeks, and then you got this badge, and then when the event ended, what Hinterland did is they just converted the run into a Voyager run. And that's what this run is. So this is where I left off pretty much when I did my Winter's Embrace event. So that was fun. That event also had some glitches. There were some ice walls in caves that prevented you from going to the back of caves, so that was not intended. You had the double container glitch, so if you went to the summit, you could actually open most of the containers twice to get double loot, a bit like the double safe glitch. So there were some problems with that, but it was a fun little thing. It was literally just to introduce ketchup chips and maple syrup, and you got a badge out of it too. So yeah, so that was fun. That's this run, and that's memories, isn't it? All right, thank you so much. Let's go back. All right, then we have also this one, the Pacifist Challenge. I'll talk about this one a little bit. This is kind of like the Birch Bark run, where you don't do any kind of hunting, except that you can eat other things. So in this run, this is the Pacifist Challenge. So I did this a while back to get the achievement. I think it's called... What's it called? It's called Silent Hunter. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one where you don't shoot a firearm for 50 days, which includes the distress pistol. But you can use the bow, of course. But I decided, let's do a Pacifist Run. Let's play Interloper without using any weapons, and you can't harm any animals either. With weapons, that is. But you can get bunnies. So I think I killed some bunnies with this. I killed 2 wolves. That's because they attacked me. I didn't shoot them. And deer, none, and I killed 1 rabbit. I'm not sure how that happened. Don't remember that happening, but that's probably how I got one of these. Maybe I accidentally killed it or something. Or I grabbed it from a wolf, maybe. Anyway, this was the Pacifist Run, so I was not allowed to use any weapons at all. And the goal was to survive 50 days, because then you also get that achievement. So I spawned, I don't remember exactly where I spawned, Hush River Valley. Yeah, that's a great place. But at the time, I think this is 2 years ago, I didn't know Hush River that well, so I more or less looted some bits here and there, then I left. But really, this was just going around, finding food, getting cattails, doing some thiefing, as it's called. That's when you push a deer or a rabbit into a wolf and get them to hunt it, and then you scare the wolf away and you take the meat. That's like a thief approach. So I did that, and only really ate meat from found carcasses and that sort of thing. Those birch tea and that sort of thing. And then we survived 50 days. So this is that run. As you can see, I don't have any weapons other than stones, because there isn't anything. It's just that, really. We have lots of resources, though. We still crafted this stuff, because you could craft it by just harvesting all the deer carcasses you found going about and just looting that. So that worked, and water was fine. We made some fishing tackles. We didn't fish, though. I think there was a discussion if fish should be allowed, and I think initially was allowed, but we decided not to do it. So I didn't catch any fish. I did eat a fish that I found, but that's about it. So in this run, I didn't hunt anything. I killed one rabbit somehow. I don't remember how that happened. I probably chased into a wolf or something. Other than that, like, I didn't at least attack any deer or rabbits or anything. I didn't fish, and I survived 50 days by doing nothing. This run is not on my channel because this was before I started making walkthroughs. However, if you do want to see this run, it should be possible in my second channel, Zaknafein's Archives, where I'm in the process of uploading old streams, and I did stream this. I think it's probably 2 years ago or something. So you can watch it if you would like to see how to survive as a pacifist. But to be fair, the birch bark challenge is the same. It's the same thing. You just eat birch only. So it's practically the same. Yeah, this is basically the base we got left with at the end of it. Some different teas, lots and lots of teas and stuff. Yeah, that was it. Thank you. And that was a fun experience. This is reminiscent, isn't it? I like looking at this stuff. I've forgotten about some of these runs. And then we have the Deadworld Part 2. So this one is interesting because I never finished it. Actually, let me quickly see. What was the date when I last went on this run? So it was... so that's I think it's the American way, so it's 4th of July. So it's a year and a half ago. So this is interesting because it's a Deadworld challenge. So Deadworld, if you are not familiar with that concept, a Deadworld is a custom challenge that exists in the Long Dark. You have to type in a code. And what it does is, it basically is similar to Nugoa, like No One Gets Out Alive, where there's very little loot in the world, very few resources. Health regenerates very slowly. You only regenerate health very slowly while awake, but not while sleeping. And most importantly, everything is dead. There are no animals anywhere. So out here, there are no wolves, there are no bears, there's no deer, there's no rabbits, no moose, nothing. There's no fish either. Nothing at all. Now that sounds great, doesn't it? There's nothing to threaten you or anything. But the problem is sustainability. You don't have any renewable food sources. Eventually you will run out of food. And what do you do then? You can't hunt. There's no animals to hunt. That means you eventually just die. And this challenge was proposed a while back by a user on Reddit called Explore the Law, and he had the code for it. And I did a Deadworld run, which at the time was the world record of 35 days. And if you want to see that run, it's available on my channel. It's an old series, 5 episodes. You can see me do it. That record has long since been beaten. I think the longest now is 130 days or some such. You just got to conserve your resources as much as possible. And this was my second attempt. I decided to do it again and I made it to day 26, and I have hardly been anywhere. I think I spawned in Team of Mali. I went to Ash Canyon, then Pleasant Valley, and then Mystery Lake in here. So there's lots left to do in this run. But I kind of stopped it because when I was doing this run, I wasn't narrating it. I wasn't explaining. I was just recording, but I wasn't explaining what I was doing. And then I started making the walkthrough videos. And I thought, should I continue this run? It's like, nah, it's a bit boring because I'm not talking in it. It's just raw footage of me going about doing stuff without any narration. And I know that people prefer it when it's narrated. So I decided to abandon it. And this is pretty much how far I got. The reason I came here to the furnace, even though you don't need arrows or anything, is you wanted to make the tools, like I haven't made them, the knife and the hatchet. Because you might need it to harvest carcasses faster or cut down something. So that's why I was there. So this is Deadworld part 2. Might do that again another time in the expansion. If you want to watch Deadworld part 1, the first time I did this, you can check out my old stream. It's on my main channel, not my old channel, that one. You could check that out. But yeah, that was a fun little thing to do. Thank you so much for this. All right. And then we have the last hurrah. So all these other ones here, they are smaller things, nothing really to look at really. But then we have, of course, this. Oh, there's also this Stalker run, but that's a separate video, which doesn't really have a base. But that's this run was when I got all the skills to level 5, which I did very recently. It's possible that video isn't even out yet. I'm not sure. It depends on the release schedule. But there's not much of a base to speak of. But in order to get all the skills to level 5, I did a Stalker run. But then we have this one, the main run. So this run was started in January 2020, so it's almost 3 years old. And I survived 1,053 days. Now there's already a video about this run. Well, there's several videos actually. If you'd like to see what happened with this run, there are 2 highlight videos. One is what happened, like the main events that happened between day 1 and 500, including some really close calls. And then the other video are highlights from day 500 to day 1000. And since day 1000, I have only played this run sporadically. There's also a video called The Main Base, which showcases this base in front of you and how it looked after day 1000. This is about 50 days or so after, though. I don't remember exactly when the video was made. So this video is made on day 1053, 54, okay. And this is after I went to the Aurora Cave. I went to the Aurora Cave in Coastal Highway with all the electricity risks and things. And I got some additional loot there. Not a lot, though, but a jerry can. So this run, this took a long time. How much time in real time, I don't really know. But hundreds of hours. And I reached day 500 in late 2020 and day 1000, I think, early 2022, I think it was. And this is the base for that. This is what it looks like. So if you've seen the main base video, it's pretty much the same, but there are some additions. I found some more coffee because I think I hadn't gone to Blackrock properly in that video. I went mostly to Blackrock after day 1000. And of course in Blackrock, I found some stuff that wasn't in the main base video. So I got some more coffee, for example. So that's cool. We got more coffee. We got some more gunpowder. These are the biggest fish that I ever caught that I transported back here, which almost cost me my run. This is 6 kilos. It's possible to get bigger than that. Extra accelerants, extra bedroll that I did actually maintain, but it's ruined now. The bullets, you can have 3 bullets on Interloper, just no gun. You find them in Hush River Valley. And you can actually use these to get gunsmith at level 5 by just harvesting the bullets and then making new ones. We got some backup hatchets. At this point in time, when I find food, I just store it because I don't need it. I have so much meat and things on me that I don't need the food. So they become mementos at this point in the game. And I just store it. And I started collecting these at some point for the fun of it, like extra flares. I used the last distress pistol shot around day 100. We got the extra can openers, fire strikers, maglens, bunch of hacksaws. We got 4 of these quality tools and some simple tools. There's more tools around the world. I haven't collected them properly. I leave them about in the other bases in case I want to make arrows. A whole bunch of marine flares. I didn't, except for a few occasions, I hardly ever used marine flares against Timberwolves. I just killed the Timberwolves instead. Some more tools again. And 6 jerry cans. I couldn't believe there were 6 in Interloper. So these aren't like amazing or anything, but they do help to refuel the lantern. Every now and then I would come back to the space and I wouldn't have lantern fuel. Which preserve matches for light, and then I would refill it with these. And I actually did once only. I took all the jerry cans to Mystery Lake on the actual lake, and I fished, and I refilled all of the cans with fish oil. So I got all of these to level to 4 liters of oil. So the way it works is when you fish, you get some oil, like some lantern fuel, in your inventory. But if you have the jerry can in your inventory instead, they fill up the jerry can instead. So I filled them all up. That's cool. And then we have the pry bar collection. As you can see, there's way more than in the other one. There are lots of pry bars here. Got some salted crackers. And I got 4 spare storm lanterns. So there's 5 in the game in total. I don't think I left anyone anywhere else. So there's 4 extra storm lanterns. I got some noisemakers here that I got from BlackRock. I took 4 of them. I used 1 to kill a rabbit. Got some food here. Some beef jerky and whatnot. And of course we have the vest, the ballistics vest from BlackRock. I only used it very briefly. It's mostly just a thing to go get it, and that was it. Got some spare satchel and coats and things. When I go to cold places like Bleak Inlet, I usually put on wolf skin or maybe moose skin instead. We got some extra stump remover stuff for crafting gunpowder if I want to do that. Wood, of course. Started collecting these for noisemakers. Got a whole bunch of teas here stacked on this chair, and some extra medicine, which actually I thought didn't work when they're ruined, but they do work. You just got to do it a special way. So if I pick these up, so if I now go here and I try to use it, they won't let me do it because it's ruined. But no. But if you go here on the medicine and choose it here instead, now it uses it.
That didn't work.
No, it didn't, Will, but hopefully you feel better. So yeah, so that was a thing that I didn't know about. I actually ate all of them though. I just know that there were 6 in there and I ate all of them. We got some extra water here as well. Inside, and here we have the antiseptic storage. In here there's some extra bandage, stim, birch bark. I have 4 stims left. I actually used all of them, but there was some I had missed, and also some regions were added. And then some more teas and things. When I started this run, there were 3 regions that didn't exist. We didn't have Bleak Inlet, we didn't have Ash Canyon, and we didn't have Black Rock. So when I started this run, those 3 regions didn't exist. And of course, when they were added to the game, you also got the loot from those regions. And then in here, we have all of our stuff. We got the guns books. Found 3 of those. Maybe I found 4. I'm not sure. 178 bullets. Got some cattail stalks. Charcoal, lots of cloth. Look how much cloth I still have left. Despite maintaining these are my backup clothing. So I have been repairing these every 50 to 100 days, and I still have quite a lot of cloth left. And there's a lot of cloth still to be found. I haven't been through most of Mountain Town and gotten stuff there and broken down furniture and that sort of thing. So this was easily last another 1,000 days, if not longer, probably a long time. Feathers and all sorts of resources here. The nearly ruined fishing tackles for fishing again. I even got some sewing kits, unbelievably. I always keep some backup cattails as well, just in case. And I guess that's pretty much it. Some matches as well. There's about, I lost track, but I think I have about 150 matches left on this run. About 150. Plus 2 mag lenses, 2 fire strikers, and a bunch of flares. If you add all of that up, it's probably close to 250 matches. So fire is still good after 1,000 days, no problem. And then of course we have the ground. We have a bunch of moose hide, bear hide, cured gut, rabbit pelts, saplings, and sticks and whatnot. And as you can see, I actually have 20 arrows. And maybe, even though I'm saying goodbye now, if I have time, I might go and hunt some timber wolves or something. We'll see. But as you can see, there's loads of these left, so that you can easily make probably another 100 arrows, if not more. There's more of these around other bases too, a bunch of saplings as well. So yeah, so this is the main base. This is what it's become now. We have all our stuff in one place, and it's jam-packed with things. But this is because this represents effectively 3 years of gaming. 3 years and 1,000 in-game days put together in one spot. And food and stuff found now that I missed or that was added, they just become mementos at this point. And this is just what the base looks like. Of course, there's also the outside, where you have not really anything, just meat. You have some wood, and then we have meat, which is quite literally what you think. It's just every now and then I kill a bear or a moose and I drag the meat back here, because out here we only have rabbits and these deer, and that's about it. I practice my long-range sniping. But yeah, so that's the main base. That was fun to do. It was a well-established base. I quite liked it. But of course, it's as sad as it is to see this base go. I mean, I can still play it on Time Capsule, I suppose. But it'll be good to do it again as well, because in the beginning there were a lot of mistakes I made, and I almost died many times as well. If you do want to watch this run, I have most of the footage from roughly day 150 to day 500, because I streamed it. I have it on my second channel, Zaknafein's archives, but they're not all uploaded, and there's some of the streams I'm not sure if I should, because I haven't quality controlled them. I don't know, what's happening, what I'm saying. It was recorded in a very small flat at the time, so you can hear my wife talking in the background and things. So I haven't really checked if they're worth uploading. But there's a possibility that you could watch this run from day 150 to 500 on my second channel. And if I do upload it, and if you do watch it, though, keep in mind that when I started this run 3 years ago, I was nowhere near as good at the game as I was now. So yeah, it was a bit rusty. And some stuff was not nearly as good as it was now. But hey, it's a learning experience. Even when you feel you mastered it, there'll always be something new to learn. Yeah, so that's the main base. That's the culmination of all of that in one place, really. There are also a whole bunch of regional bases. Every region in the world in this run has a base, and they all have stuff in it. So Pleasant Valley is the farm, Mountaineer's Hut, the Angler's Den, the prison down here in Desolation Point. It's the Riken. Then we have the fishing lodge, not the garage, but the fishing camp, I think it's called. The workers' residence in Bleak Inlet, the farm in Fallen Muskeg, the hunter's lodge in Broken Railroad, the farm in Mountain Town, and the northern cave in Hushtree Valley. So all of these regions have their own regional base, and in that base there's always something. In those bases I keep some extra food, some water, sometimes some tools, just in case I need to craft something, some extra medicine, particularly mountainous regions have a lot of medicine in it, and there's some misc stuff here and there. And also the hammers, if you notice, there's just one hammer here. One hammer, and I don't think I'm carrying a hammer, no. So one hammer. But I have 6 hammers, but they have been moved around. So I put the hammers in locations, fishing hut locations. So there's a hammer in different fishing huts that says where they are. So I can use the hammer to break the ice. I think actually I have written down where they are. We can see. Does it say hammer? Okay, there's a hammer in Desolation Point Forge. So I left one there. I left another hammer in Fallen Muskeg Forge. So that makes sense. So there's 2 there. And then where are the other hammers? Other hammers. Here we are. Right, so the 2 forges, Spencer's and Riken. Then there's one here in Trapper's Cabin. There's one in Coastal Highway in the fishing hut. There's one in Timberwolf Mountain in the lake there, in the fishing hut. And then the workers' residence fishing hut in Bleak Inlet. So there's 3 in fishing huts, and then 2 in forges, and 1 here. And that's how that works. And these are the notes from the run. I just always say what I'm about to do immediately, and some small notes to myself. And here's like the main bases in case I ever were to forget, and some more notes about the bases when I can go through all that stuff. Though lost arrows, sometimes I lost arrows and I couldn't find them anywhere, or a wolf ran off with it, so it's somewhere in the world. Sometimes I would lose an arrow and I would find it 500 days later. It happened a couple of times. Even if I watched a replay and saw exactly where the arrow landed, couldn't find it. Came back hundreds of days later and suddenly it was there. I had all these goals in this run as well. Surviving certain times, doing certain things. Some things didn't work. For example, the special wolves. Fluffy did not spawn on my run. I never managed to kill Fluffy, the indoor wolf in Bleak Inlet, because she never spawned. But Scruffy and Sketchy did spawn. Scruffy I killed on day 235. Sketchy, who's in Hushed Valley, the glitchy wolf, killed him 3 times. So that worked out. And then I also did gunsmithing level 5. Notice I didn't do fishing level 5 until almost day 500. I killed 500 predators. That was something Shadu did. And then it's a whole bunch of different things. Open all crates and everything. Open all the crates in the dams. Explore the Aurora Mine. That's the last thing I did, exploring the Aurora Mine on day 1052. And then there's a bunch of different things. So there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't do here as well. I never got around to it. And I probably never will at this point. So there have to be new ones. So there's a few things here I didn't do. Like spending 100 days in every region and never got around to that. I did do it in Ash Canyon, Mountain Town, Mystery Lake, and Timberwolf Mountain. But the other regions, I haven't been there. No. And then I placed a few cans. I got some specific loot locations. I got wildlife observations, trying to figure out respawn times. And then where the matches are and all this stuff. So there's so much stuff here. Before we end, we might as well have a look at the stats. So 1054. Underworld explored, of course. The calorie stuff is just a bit weird, so I'm not sure about that. But you can see where I've been, and somehow close to 100, like Bleak Inlet and Hushed Valley, but it's not quite there. The least amount of time I spent in Fallen Muskeg, I pretty much just went in there and forged and went back out. But Fallen Muskeg is actually okay region. Blackrock also, I only recently went there on this run, so I haven't really been there. We have taken 1,250 bow shots, and I hit 800 and a bit of them. So what's that? It's like 75% accuracy or something. That's all right. That's okay. Used all my distress pistol shots, hit 2 of them. I've been in 69 wolf struggles, and I survived all of them. Killed 576 wolves, and I killed 69 bears, but I also got mauled by bears 11 times. A lot of 69 stuff here. And then I got stumped by moose 5 times, and I killed a moose 22 times. 102 deers, 237 rabbits. Even snared some rabbits. I did that en masse just to like get the badge for that. Crafted 2,700. Looted 11,000 items. Gosh. A fire started almost 1,000 fires, and the longest fire was 1,100 hours. Okay. No, 111. Yeah, that's it. I never had dysentery. I actually had dysentery the first time in Long Dark recently in a Stalker run. Never had an infection either, but I had hypothermia 4 times, blood loss several times, cabin fever 9 times, broken ribs 5, health 54 times, and I've been 600 blizzards. So yeah, so that is this run. That's what this is. It was a good experience. This is why I saved this for last, because it's by far the most to say about it. If you want to see all the highlights of this base and how it came to be, you can watch my highlight videos. Maybe the streams will be put up and you can watch that on my other channel. But you can get a snippet of the highlights. I mean, it's 1,000 days. There's a lot of stuff that happened. I can't include all of it, but there are 2 videos on the first 500 days and then the other one on 1,000 days that showcases all the near deaths and everything. Yeah, so quite a lot of things that happen in these runs. But that was it. There are no other runs. That was all of it. Yeah, some were very old, some were new, but it was fun. It was fun to kind of look at these runs actually and just think about how they came to be and everything that happened. And now it's all going to be gone. They won't be wiped. They will be more like frozen. So they can be accessed through the time capsule. And maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. I'm not sure. Either case though, thank you for the runs. And thank you all for watching, because many of these runs I explained in these videos, they were on YouTube and you may have watched them. If not, you can check them out, of course, if you like. There'll be pre-DLC content, but not sure if that matters. In any case, yeah, it was a good run. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for sharing the experience with me. And I'll see you next time, survivors. Bye-bye.